Okay. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of You Look Lovely Today.
Yes. Hi.
Hey. Yeah, it's been a while, but we just had some free time today, so wanted to do another episode. I have some stories that I selected for a long time ago for a guest that we thought we'd have centered around weight loss. So I don't think it's gonna happen because they moved out of the country, so we'll just use them today.
Because I gained weight. That's
No.
why. Is that why?
No, you never gained weight before.
But after.
No. A husband knows never to comment on weight. Anyways, no, I'm kidding. Oh yeah, by the way, update. We just passed our 1 year anniversary. That's how long it's gone since we haven't been doing episodes. I think we did one episode after our wedding.
In Bali. And I think we did one here. Yeah, but we were not very good at keeping up with all the updates and then the podcast. But at least I think that we have time. We should do it more often.
Yeah. I mean, just to
catching up and talk.
Yeah, just to have a record of us in January
2025.
Yeah, January 12th, 2025.
But actually I kind of miss this, and I think that it's also part of your objective since the beginning, that why you want to have it. It's not actually for other people, but mostly for us to keep record of, not just only where do we stand with our perspective, but to have quality time together. Because I've been thinking that I think lately I'm also very busy with work, and you are such a good supportive to be there for me. And I mean, but you're also doing your own thing, but we also just, should we stop?
Oh, it's okay. Our neighborhood fruit truck driving around.
Very Asian style.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I was just thinking that it's also nice that last week we got to play Switch together. It's kind of nice, I think sometimes it seems like quality, we're spend time together. Yes, every day we see each other, but quality time, it's not easy to find.
Yeah, especially when quality time focused on each other. Yeah.
Because we're together, we're in the same room, but I'm watching TV, you're playing your game. It's not that a no-go, but it's just we are in the same place, but sometimes, I mean, there would be time that we would enjoy that too, that we'd be able to do our own thing. But I also miss the time that it just, we are doing this kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think it can be taken for granted because we feel we're with each other every day, and then, I mean, just how we haven't done this podcast, it's probably it's very easy for it to be okay, we'll do it, next week or next month or maybe next year, And
but I have to say, this time you set up very fast. Usually it takes you 2 hours.
I used to be more perfectionist about the lighting, and even I needed it dead quiet. But, nowadays it's okay, if you pick up some ambient noise and, some cars driving by, it's whatever, not a big deal. That's life.
Nothing's perfect.
We capture everything. You got birds, I think, on the microphone. That's fine.
It's fun.
Yeah. What else can we update just to our future selves that are watching this?
You are into
rock climbing?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been rock climbing recently. Just climbed with Zabi, doing multi-pitches. Shout out Zabi if you're watching this. Oops. Yeah. That's fun. Yeah, one thing I like climbing is that...
Also, one more thing. Belly bowl.
Oh, belly bowl, the ramen. But no, that was before. That was a little bit before the wedding.
But I don't think... Oh, no.
I think we talked about it.
Wait,
or maybe it was after the wedding.
I think ramen was after the wedding.
Yeah.
It's on... I think you opened the truck last April. Around before April.
And then now we've moved from the truck to... well, my uncle already has an existing ramen restaurant, so we're also working out of his kitchen. Cloud kitchen. Yeah, so it's fun. Yeah. Ramen, woo. Yeah. Okay. So, what about any updates on you?
I'm happy with you very much. I know that's what I'm
Okay.
gonna say. I was thinking like, did I start piano? But I start sourdough. Getting into like baking, and the other day I just took class. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Focaccia?
Focaccia. Yeah. So let's see. Today I'll be making flatbread with hummus, shumishiri, and steak. So I mean, I'm always into cooking, but I really enjoy cooking for like my husband and also like my family too. But I think Justin gets all like the goodie good of like my experiment of cooking different sort of like flavors of sourdough and like just cooking in general.
Yeah, I'm definitely lucky to have a wife that enjoys cooking and is good at it. Because I think before we were dating, like I definitely didn't eat quality food, and I wasn't eating regularly. I think it was just when I was hungry, like really hungry, I would go down to 7-Eleven and get food or something
But
like
do
that.
you think that you're overeating here?
No,
Not
but I think
always.
I'm gaining weight, but in a good way. I've always struggled with like gaining muscle mass, and then now that I'm climbing and taking protein, and then also eating more regularly, I think I am gaining weight, but I think in a good way.
I think so.
I think I'm filling up. Yeah, it's good. Okay, let's get started. Weight gain. Okay. So, our first story is from Am I the Asshole? It's titled, Am I the Asshole for telling my friend that she shouldn't wear a bikini to the pool? Now, this is an old post. I think it's maybe over a year ago, but it's okay. Let's just use it as a topic. Okay, so my best friend was visiting me this week, and since it's summer, we decided we wanted to go to the pool. She has been on antidepressants for the past 2 years, which has made her gain a ton of weight. She used to be very slim and skinny like me, but the meds have completely changed her body composition. She bought a few bathing suits and was asking for my opinion on them. She had a one piece and a bikini she was deciding between. She kept saying she looked too fat in the bikini and might wear the one piece. I actually thought the one piece looked better, but I didn't say anything because it was up to her. She modeled both for me and asked for my opinion. All I said was, I like the one piece better. She asked me if I thought that she looked fat in the bikini, and I said no, I just like the other one better. She started to act super triggered and kept accusing me of thinking she's fat, and I told her to F off and wear whatever she wants. She put on the one piece and kept making snarky comments about how I think she's fat, and I would ignore her. But she kept taunting me with the comments. So I just snapped and said, yeah, you shouldn't wear a bikini because it doesn't look good on you. Happy now? Is that what you wanted me to say so badly? She just started packing her bags and went somewhere. I haven't heard from her since. I heard from our mutual friend, Allie, that she's safe and she just went to a hotel and rebooked her flight. But Allie told me that apparently my friend told her that I called her fat, and Allie says I could have handled the situation better, even when I told her the real story. Am I the asshole? ?
But okay, correct me if I'm wrong because I think that I zoned out for a bit. So so basically she didn't tell her friend upfront, like when she asking for like a comment, so like, oh, which one should I wear? But she was like slightly telling her that, oh, just wear like the one piece instead of like the bikinis, right? But then at the end, her friends are like nagging her and just like being passive aggressive and just like victimize herself, kind of. Is it?
I mean, I think the gist of it is that she asked a friend, which one do you like more? And the friend answered, honestly, she answered, like, I think you look better in the one piece. And then I think that the girl is very subconscious about her weight gain. And I think she wanted someone to say, like, no, you don't look fat. Like, you look good. You look great in the bikini, because I think she's being self-conscious about it. And then the fact that the friend wasn't telling her that, she was like, it's because I'm fat. Like, I'm fat, huh?
So you want your friend, her friend didn't say what she wants to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you copying me? Like,
No. It looks comfortable.
It is comfortable, but I'm very conscious about my feet. I don't think it looks nice. Anyway, so I don't think she's an asshole because I think at least she's trying to spare her friend's feeling, you know, by like saying that like just wear the other one. But I think that it just so annoyed that like she just snapped. She could have like control her emotion better. But I mean, if you care for this friend of yours, I would just say sorry. You know, like you don't have to say it like that. But sorry, but you should also tell her your point that like you're also like annoying as fuck. That like, why are you, you know, like we're friends, but I'm also conscious about like how should I say it to you, you know, but okay, maybe I should say it up front in a nicer manner. But I mean, I think that like, you know, the person, when you look in this case, I feel like the person who's feeling hurted the most is the one who's like gain weight, you know. And I think that for you, it's just that you're trying to hold it, but then you just can't because you're just annoying. So like for you to be a bigger person, I think that you can just say sorry, even though like I don't think that you're an asshole, but just to move on. And if you value the friendship.
And then it's like, am I an asshole because I called my fat friend annoying? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that the issue here is that the fat friend, I mean, the friend
you can't be body shaming.
I think the issue here is the friend that is asking about the bikini is obviously having some issues with her self-confidence, and she's kind of lashing out at her friend that is not telling her what she wants to hear. But I mean, do you really want your friends to just lie to you? And I think that the friend initially, she did the right thing by not saying that she looks fat, but instead being honest with her and kind of being like, you know, you should wear the one piece. Like, oh, like the one piece is nicer. And I think that's a nice way to say, I mean, it's a nice way to like, if you honestly feel like your friend is gaining weight and it doesn't look good on her, you also shouldn't like just say like, yeah, like, no, you haven't been gaining weight. You look just as good as before. And you kind of like reinforce that like false image in their head, you know? I think if your friends can't be honest with you, then who's going to be honest with you, you know? So I think definitely not the asshole. But I think what I want to talk about more is like, I feel like how would you communicate with the girl that's gaining weight in a way that could help her? I think there's a lot of people that maybe struggle with their partner or like their friends, like kind of, you know, because I think nowadays weight is a very sensitive subject.
Is this article for us?
No.
Like the more you're sharing your opinion, I have to look back.
It's getting hot in here. No, but I think it's who are we just talking to? Like
don't say names.
Yeah, I don't know names, but you know how maybe they're not satisfied with the way that their partner has maybe developed or something, and you know, how would you communicate that? Because I think weight is a very sensitive, physical things about your body can be very sensitive. And, you know,
I think you have to learn. I mean, if we're not talking about, so, okay, two scenario here. If it's
or we can talk about us.
No. Okay. I will. But I mean, like, if I'm talking about friend to friend, if my friend asking for my opinion, I would say it, but I also need to read the room, you know, and read like, how would my friend, you know, like react to this? And also like, sorry, let me paraphrase this. I would say like, how would I approach my friends? You know, if she's a very straightforward person and she wants to hear this, then I'll be direct with her. But if she wants my honest opinion, but she is very kind, very gentle, so I will have another way of saying it, you know, but I'll still tell her the fact, but it's just like more humble, more kind. But I mean, we're always kind to everyone. But it's just like some people, they just want to know like, yeah, you gain weight. You look like cottage cheese on your like thighs. I would just say that. But no, I won't say that. But you have to find a way to approach. Some people you might have to say like, maybe this doesn't fit you. It does look, your bottom look a little bit bigger. Or some you can be honest at like, yeah. I mean, but many times that like, for example, like my friend, she would already say that like I gain weight, but I would say like, yeah, maybe a little bit, so add all to that, like, yeah, I agree. But I mean, but most likely they gain weight a bit, but not that much. Yeah. But when it comes to our partner, I think I can tell from your like body language, not that like you're uncomfortable with me, but you're like
my body language.
Yeah, you're like touch my arms and like
no, but I like to squeeze your arms.
You like to squeeze my arm, but it is more squeezable when it's big.
Definitely. But I mean, okay, well, we should put a disclaimer out here first of all that anyone taking our advice, it really matters on.
Just don't take our advice.
I mean, it really matters on how your partner, because I'm very lucky that you are very, you're not, I think you encourage and you appreciate when we're honest with each other. I mean, I think at the right time. I think if I
mean, there's time that I feel like, yeah, I know, but I just don't have time. I mean, there's time that I'm like, okay, I admit that like I'm fat, or I'm like, I gain weight, maybe not fat, but I gain weight and I acknowledged it. I think that the problem that you should acknowledge it, like myself, and then I'm going to work on it. But I just like, I'm trying, but miracle is not happening like in the next day. So it takes time, but it's all together. It's about your eating habits, your exercise, it's just everything together. But sometimes like, maybe I am working out a lot, but my eating is very bad, or I'm stressed and then I just like stress eating. So it just come together. But I'm also aware of like, okay, when the trend like down or like up. Yeah. But now it's a little bit up, but remaining there. So I'm trying, but I haven't been like really, really work out a lot. I'm stressed these days.
So if you, I think you look great. If you were in the girl with the bathing suits position, and you, for example, I don't know if you've ever felt that way, where you were like, have you ever asked me like, oh, how does this look, knowing that like you gained weight or something, and then you kind of did you want me to answer a certain way or?
No, but I think that I'm also quite conscious about like how I dress. Even you don't like my fashion style, like he would be a fashion police, like fashion police here and in the morning. No. ไม่แต่ว่า what I'm trying to say is that I think I'm also conscious about if I gain weight, like there's some certain outfit or tops or skirt that I wouldn't wear, because it doesn't look nice. But I mean, when I gain weight, I always wear, not just like when I gain weight, but I also like prefer to wear one piece more anyways.
I think one pieces look better in general. I kind of like the one piece look, talking about bathing suits, but what was it?
What did we talk about?
No, I think we're talking about like how to like address people's like insecurities kind of. And so, I mean, I guess like, yeah, I think I've been like, I think I've said things like, oh, this dress or this thing isn't
it doesn't look pleasant. You look like potato sack.
No.
Did you say that?
No, but
you did.
No, I never.
No, you did.
Okay,
you did.
I said you look like the monk from Robin Hood once because of the robe that you're wearing.
But you called me like potato sack. Wait, I remember.
No, I think because the outfit, like the material looks like a potato sack.
But so I wear it and I look like a potato sack.
But I'll just say things like, oh, why don't you like, like it doesn't, the silhouette of the outfit doesn't look as flattering or something like that. I don't know. I think I do a pretty good job of being, about being sensitive. No?
No, you do.
You do,
You do.
okay.
You do. But I thought that like you're going to say that, oh, my sense of fashion is pretty good.
I think my sense of fashion is pretty good. No. Okay, yeah. We should show the glasses, my new sunglasses that I got. I'm more of a function over fashion person. So I think if I wanted to do a certain job for me or like fulfill a certain task, and if it doesn't look that cool, it's like whatever.
Yeah, mine is different.
Yeah. Definitely.
Designs over function.
Yeah. Okay. Is there okay, one last thing about this story, like as far as like communication about if you're insecure about your weight, is there something you would want me to do better or something that you don't like that I do
No, I think the way that
besides playing with your arms?
No, I think that the way that we communicate are perfect for like for me. I mean, I know like sometimes when I'm like not confident about my body or I feel like I'm gaining weight, I also say to you, did you hear like the birds?
Yeah, that's okay. Birds are nice. Oh, and then speaking of, here comes the fruit lady.
It's okay. Let's try it out with this.
Yeah, let's see.
It's kind of fun.
Mm.
Yeah. No, but I think our communication is already great. But is there anything you want me to like be more mindful about, especially on like your top line, like top part of your body?
Oh, my hair? No, I'm okay. I think I also, yeah, okay, let's just say it. I'm insecure about losing my hair. And then but I think that you want to have someone in your life that you can be like, dude, give it to me straight. Like, do I need to start shaving my head? Oops, sorry. Yeah, and of course it's like that. If that person would be anyone, it's gonna be you, you know. So, no, I think it's, you know, I was like, don't ever let me.
We should.
Yeah, like there'll be certain people that will see that are like, you know, obviously just trying to like, you know, hide something or like not hide something, but just
cover it.
Yeah, just like a comb over or something like that. And I was like, oh, please. Not that people can't have that kind of hairstyle, you know, do whatever you want. But for me, I just don't want to be, I prefer not to have that look. And it's just like, you know, I'd rather just, you know, if it gets bad, we'll just shave my head or something. If you see me in an episode and I start shaving my head, it's because
I told you
my
you
wife
have like
told me,
many years to go.
You said like a few months or something.
No, maybe
year.
like 2 years.
Okay, hopefully.
Yeah, 2-3 years. Let's see. We evaluate. I mean, maybe when we eat like better, it helps with like our nutrition and then our body.
I feel like my hair gets better when we go back to the US to visit. I don't know, maybe something in the shower water or
so
something.
that's why you can like keep extending it because we're going back like every other year.
Yeah, we should. Okay, so I think that's wrapped up. Okay. And then, okay, the next one is another, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for complaining about the couple in the hotel room next door?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Okay. I, 38 female, am on vacation in Europe with my husband, 41 male. We have been together for 14 years, and this is our first trip without our kids. Part of the reason we have taken this trip is to rekindle the relationship. This is a 2-week trip, and we are on day 9. For context, we have had sex once. We were both drunk, and I think we both forced it a bit. We get on great as people, but our sex life has been an issue since we had children. This has only gotten worse since last year. My husband told me he loves me, but doesn't find me attractive sexually anymore, which was upsetting and hurtful, as in the past 3 years, I have gained over 100 pounds. Keep a straight face. Okay. We are staying in an amazing 5-star resort. The hotel rooms has its own small pool and terrace to sit out on. Since we have arrived, my husband has found issues with nearly everything: the hotel, the staff, the food, and the other guests. From 5 days ago, in the room next door, a young British couple took the room. For context, they are both very attractive. If I found out they were Instagram models or something, I would not be shocked. The issue is each room shares a wall with another room, and we share a room and a lower balcony where we can see their terrace with this couple. Since they have arrived, we have heard them having sex more or less twice a day. In addition, when they are sat on the terrace, they are kissing and all over each other. In addition, the woman next door is sunbathing topless. I know we are in Europe and that's the norm, but I find it hard to get used to. My husband quickly befriended them over the balcony, and truthfully, I think lusting over the woman next door, who I think was oblivious to this. I have also spoken to them, and they seem nice. After being woken in the middle of the night 2 nights ago to the sound of them having sex, and again that morning, I went and asked the concierge if they could ask them to keep it down. Obviously, having been told something, last night the man next door angrily told my husband if he had an issue, he should have said something directly. My husband did not know I had reported it, and we then argued all yesterday evening. My husband called me ridiculous and a prude, and that if I was more carefree, we wouldn't have any issues. I also brought up his obvious like of the other woman next door. He angrily said, "Why wouldn't I? She is young, thin, and hot," which was an obvious dig of what I'm not. He then angrily walked around the hotel room before going to sleep in silence. This morning, I woke up to a text that he had gone to hike up a hill/mountain. This takes all day, and we had decided earlier in the trip we wouldn't do it. Since he returned, we have hardly spoken, and we were supposed to go out for dinner, but he has suggested we just order for room service. Am I the asshole for complaining about the couple next door? Or is he the asshole for leaving me in the hotel all day on vacation? Looking for a bit of context, if complaining about this couple next door was as bad as he's making out. Okay.
You go first.
No. Did you space out?
No, but I think that it's just like obviously they have their own issue, so like maybe seeing other people happy also like making her feel like jealous of like, oh, how happy they are. And she also, I think it's coming from like she's also insecure with her body. So that's why like every little thing sort of like annoys her. But for him also maybe, they are not on a good like status in terms of like their own like marriage too. So everything just like, even he are like just nice to them, being friendly, she might think another way around, but for him to reply to her like that, it's like he slapped her, that like with like things that she's already feel insecure of. But I think that, I know that they want to have this trip as rekindle, but maybe they should just go see therapists instead. Rather than, of course, like you want to do it on your own first, trying to figure it out, rather than go to therapists. I think when you go to couple therapists, maybe it's more like advanced, that like it is a serious, serious problem. But, like maybe the tension that they have and how disconnected that they were might not be an ideal to solve by yourself. Yeah, it seems like it's more serious. It might need professional help.
Yeah,
I love this background.
It's nice. I feel like any activity outside of your normal schedule puts more strain on a relationship. Like if you are already like a couple that is having difficulties, going on a nice trip is not gonna make it better. Even if it's a nice cruise, there's there's stressful points of like the airport or like going through the booking process or traveling, organizing things. If you're already kind of like not happy or something like that, then there's going to be something that's some issue or something. So I feel like when people, for example, feel like, oh, we're not happy, like if I get pregnant we have a baby, we might fall in love again, and I think that's it's not the outside, some other event happening is not going to make your love or your relationship better. Like it has to come from within to like repair your relationship.
But in some situations, I had a few friends who having a long distance relationship, and her and her boyfriends are like having an issue, blah blah blah. But then when they meet up, they're I think they spend a day like fighting, and at the end they're like, why are we fighting? We're here together. Let's just enjoy the time. So rather that, it's just so difficult because you maximize the time that you're together and you make it like your honeymoon, but it's still not fixing the core problem. You can still have the good moment together depending on the couple, but still it's just like, okay, we just put a sticker on for a little bit, just a bandage, and then, but it's not properly like going through it. So what I'm trying to say is that I feel like for some couple, it's not that you going on a trip is not helping. It's still not helping, but you have like more additional like, good memory that, I can think about it. But yeah, it's still like not fixing the problem.
Yeah, I mean, okay, side tangent on like long distance relationships. I think that, if you do have problems in the relationship, when you have those like, okay, we're gonna be together for a couple of weeks, it's like you have to make it. You feel like.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
No. We can talk later, or I can mute it. The mic's so fast. Ready? Mm-hmm. Set.
Maha.
I don't care. No, okay. I just don't care. Oops. Yeah. So, in long distance relationships, you feel like, we're only together for 2 weeks, so I need to maximize. We can't have any unhappy moments. But when you fight and stuff like that,
but you've done that before.
No, I've heard from friends that have been through this that
you're bad at lying. You're bad at lying.
If you feel like you have to maximize, or like, we can't be fighting because we only have 2 weeks together, then you're not really working on improving your relationship, So I don't think, like, we have had some disagreements and fights, and that's really like we're obviously not going to agree on things all the time. And then when you have these moments where we can voice like, hey, I wasn't happy when you did this, or like, this is bothering me. And then that's how you can either hold resentment for the other person, or you can like, let's fix this because I don't want you to feel that way. And I want to, I don't want you to feel like that way the next time this happens, So I think couples that try to play fairy tale and feel like, okay, like, let's just pretend like everything's great for 2 weeks. Like, you're not really improving or fixing a relationship. You're just kind of like, it's going to be, and I guess it works okay for a long distance relationship, but in the future, if you do come and settle down together, you're going to realize like, hey, I don't really like this person, or like, we're not really that compatible. So
can you think of like, if there will be anything that you will hate of me if I continue doing? This is not a trick question.
It's definitely a quick trick question, but I don't.
No, I'm just thinking that like, if I'm continuing to, let's say, I think that I already like dial it down. Like, for example, if I'm continuing to drink a lot and party a lot, maybe it's something that like it might be our issue.
I think your drinking is not that bad, especially now, but I think that
I'm not alcoholic, by the way.
No, it's not an alcoholic, but I think what's an issue before was that in those kind of situations, it's not very fun for me, and I want to be there and support you, but then sometimes they like drag out so long. So when you would have these kind of things, you're like, hey, I'm gonna go drink with my friends. I think we compromise pretty well, because you'll be like, hey, we're going bar hopping, and like, why don't you join us for the last bar? I'm like, great, okay, so that's fine. I think it's what's an issue maybe is sometimes when like when I feel like I'm losing my social battery and like you're still going hard, and I'm like, oh my god, like
I'm just trying to think that like lately I'm not doing any bar hopping, or I'm going on a bar anymore, but I feel like even you're picking me up from like the last destination that we were hanging out, I think at least everyone want to chat with you for a little bit, So I think that it just to prepare that in mind that, okay, if you pick me up, then you need at least 30 minutes to be there with everyone. Because I think that they also want to catch up, And I think that it's fair. Like, especially if you don't see them, I think 30 minutes to an hour, like, it's, compromisable.
Yeah. I think I just have to like prepare that like social battery energy to like jump into that room with like a bunch of people.
You
that are,
know,
like,
I think
farting and
at the
partying.
beginning of our relationship, it's quite new for me to understand you're introvert. Because because I don't think that I'm very, very extrovert, but I am more extrovert than you know, so I don't understand like, oh, why do I need to know exactly how many people gonna be there?
Yeah, I think not. I think, but I know. I know a lot of people that don't know me as well as you do assume that like I'm an extrovert because when I come into the party, I like to make people feel good and like talk to them. I don't want people to feel like left out or like I don't want people to feel that I don't want to talk to them, stuff like that. So a lot of people feel like, what are you talking about? Like you're always like talking to people, you're always like making, but I'm like, you know, like before I enter a room, I'm like, let's gather myself. How many people are there? There's like 15 people in there, 30 minutes. Okay, got it. I'm going to allot this much energy. And I go in there and I'm like, like, I'm like, yeah, hey, how are you? How have you been? I'm like, cause I think people feel like I'm an extrovert because the energy they're feeling is like energy from me that I'm giving to them. And that's a finite amount of energy. And so, and then, yeah, so that's an interesting, I mean, it's a coping mechanism. It's not a coping mechanism, but it's just something, it's just how I work. And then, so if I go to a party and it's like, hey, it's a small dinner and I walk in and it's like evolved into like a rager with like 70 people bouncing off the walls. I'm like, oh shoot. Like my energy levels are not prepared for this. Like in my head, in like my inside out head, it's like battle stations, like pull up the reserve. Like we're under attack. You know, it's like, I'm not prepared for this. So, I mean, but I can still adapt, but I think I'll just like, okay, I have to like make my initial hellos and then, you know, sneak away to like the restroom or something and just like, okay, like let's, you know, maybe I'll make an excuse to like I'll go get water or something or hide behind my camera or something like that. But yeah, that's life. We're not talking about this, are we? What was the story about the couple in the hotel?
The couple in the hotel.
The couple hotel. Okay, so back to the couple in the hotel. I think number one, there's a problem in the relationship that has not been addressed for way too long. I think the husband is not attracted to the wife anymore. That's what he said. Physically, sexually attracted to her. I think they get along as friends. Like they probably get along as friends, but I think somewhere down the line, possibly because of the weight gain. I mean, gaining 100 pounds, which is 45 kilos, is a lot. I mean, that really changes your body. Mm-hmm. Not that I know people are, you know, don't want to body shame and stuff like that. But I mean, let's just say if you gained 45 kilos. Wow. First of all, no, I'm kidding. No. If you gained 45 kilos.
Wow. Like.
No. If you gain 45 kilos, is it unreasonable for me to, I think, just take away the semantics of the way I communicate this, but is it unreasonable for me to say like, hey, yeah, like I am not physically attracted to you? I mean, it's not like physical attraction is like, I mean, you can love someone, but that doesn't mean like you're guaranteed to be physically attracted to them. You know, like things happen. That doesn't mean I don't love you anymore, right? Like,
well, your hands are so wet.
No. But I'm trying to be careful.
To me or to YouTube?
No, in you. No, but I want to be. I don't want to be misunderstood. I think that it's reasonable for someone to become unattracted to someone. For example, if I started drinking a lot and being kind of like really obnoxious to you or something like that, and then you might be like, you know, this is not the guy that I married, and it's like, oh, I get the ick from him, and it's not as, you know, when he comes home really drunk, like, and he's trying to initiate intimacy, like I don't really want to engage with that. And I think that that's, you know, just because you're married to someone doesn't guarantee that person is always going to be physically attracted, and you can just like not put any effort into you know, like your appearance or about your manners or something like that. Like if I started, okay, I'm gonna like, you know, eat and like have food falling out of my mouth, like talk with my mouth full of food, you know, I think I still feel like I still make an effort to the way I look. I mean, not implying you don't, but I'm just saying that, for example, you know, I think that it takes work and things happen. People gain weight. She could be on medication or having the baby and stuff like that. Are you okay? Yeah. And then, so, but I think it's something they need to work on, you know. Is it too loud?
No. It's just like pressing.
Oh, too much pressure? Yeah. Do you want to switch headphones?
No.
We can trade.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So that's one, the weight gain. And there is possibility that they said that they get along well as friends, like they communicate. I think the intimacy is an issue. And I can see that playing a toll on a relationship where the guy might feel resentful, or the woman can also start to feel resentful or unloved in that way and stuff like that. And that's difficult. So as far as the getting upset with the couple next door, it's not their fault. Number one, it's not their fault, but I think it is a like inciting incident, like something that happened that will give them an opportunity. Okay, let's address this. Let's talk about this. It sucks that they have to do it on a vacation, but I think that, yeah, they definitely need to work through this. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think that it's just very hard topic, you know, attraction, sexual appeal, and those, you know, because I mean, we heard from like different people that we know of that like are, you know, that having those sort of like intimacy questions, you know, but I think like open communication and try to work on it, try to be understanding about one another, and try to say like what can be done, or like what is the solution. I don't know, it's just so difficult to say, because I think that it's about listening to one another and like try to work as a team. I think
it's so difficult because at that point,
because I don't know, like if one day it happened, you don't know, you know, just one day if it happened to us, it could be difficult too, you know. And I think that maybe, who knows, maybe it will be like the end of like, not us, but who knows, you know, like what if I'm having like
medical wise, you just like gain.
But I think that if it's medical wise, you're a very, very good husband, and like you're very kind, you know. I know that you'll be very understanding, you know, and you feel like, oh, if you have disease, then, you know, it happened, you know. I think you'll be very understanding, and I think that you will live with it, you know.
Yeah, I think
you'll find alternative.
Yeah, I think that
but not cheating.
No, never. But in a sense that if you gained 45 kilos out of your control, then no, it's okay. If you gain 45 kilos outside of your control, it's understandable and I can get it. But if you gain 45 kilos just because...
And not taking care of myself.
Yeah, because I feel like not taking care of your appearance, or just like not putting an effort into looking attractive for your partner is kind of sad, you know. Like, it's just the same way that like you feel, a lot of people will say like after you get married, people stop making an effort. Like they say like never stop dating your partner. Like,
but what if that person is like not really taking care of themselves since the beginning of the relationship, you know, since like the beginning, that like they are not taking care of how they look, you know, can you expect that? Or it is like, if before
you chose to marry that person.
But I mean, like what I'm trying to say is that if at the beginning you're maintained to be like that, then it's understandable, right?
Yeah, because at least then you had that choice. Okay, this is that person. I accept that person.
Okay.
But I can also see that like, what if you started dating someone and they were 40 kilos, and then for 2 years you're dating, and then they moved up to like 47, 48, 50 kilos, and you go, okay, that's fine, let's get married. And then after you get married, they become 60, and then 70, and then a couple of years they're like 150 kilos. And it's like, well, I've always been gaining weight, you know. This is not about us, but I'm just saying that, like, I think it's, you know, I think there can be I think sometimes we can take our partner for granted, in a sense that, like, you feel like it's assured that, like, this person is always going to be attracted to me. They're always going to
Not always.
no, I know, but I think people can kind of, sometimes people get lazy in the relationship and feel like, I got it, like, we're married, you know, what else? Like, just like the way that I think you expressed to me that, like, you would like to go out on dates more often, which I haven't done well, but I'll try to do more. And we're like, cook together. You've expressed that you want us to cook together, and I will make an effort in that area one day. But but yeah, but it's like, I think that,
Just cook with me today.
yeah, definitely, for sure, today is the day. And then, but I think for you, it's not so much that like you need me to take you to like 5-star restaurants, or you want this like lavish dating lifestyle. But I think for you, if I never did those things, or it would feel like he doesn't listen to me. These are things that communicate that are important to me, that I value, and he doesn't put an effort in this area, you know. And I think that that's where people can, that's where relationships are kind of like made or broken, because I think people can be negotiated with, in a sense that, like, I'm really busy, I don't have time, or maybe like money's tight, I don't really want to go out to this kind of restaurant right now. But I think people just want to feel like the partner is making an effort for them. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So I think in this, again, back to this couple, it's really hard to give this relationship advice, because it feels like the problem started like many, many years ago. And it's like, but at this point, the problem in both of their minds have been like so callous, and it's like concrete now. It's like really hard to change. But, you know, I think they need to talk. And I think it's hard to talk with just them too about this kind of thing, because they probably already have this bias towards each other, and they might need like a third party, like a therapist or someone, to like help them communicate what their partner is thinking, because they're probably not going to listen, you know, with their partner. Yeah. So that's tough. Unfortunately, I think at this point is probably, have to talk to a therapist or a good friend that can mediate. You know what I mean? One more.
No, let's do 2.
Just 2? Mm. Let me read you the title for the next one, and you can choose. How's my neck look?
Your neck looks fine. I love your neck. A lot of layers.
Like an onion. Okay, the last one. This one's short. Okay, am I the asshole for telling a coworker to stop commenting on my weight loss? Essentially, as the title suggests, I, female 35, have an eating disorder, and my weight fluctuates with recovery and relapse. I work in a hospital, and most of my coworkers have worked with me for 10 plus years and are aware of my disorder. A new lady started working with us a few months ago, I was well at the time. I have recently relapsed, and side effects of this is weight loss. For the last 3 weeks or so, this new nurse has made comments such as, "Congratulations on the weight loss, you look great," or "How are you losing weight?" or "I wish I had your discipline to lose weight." One day I had enough and said to her, "Can you please stop commenting on my body weight/appearance? I have an eating disorder, and you are making it worse. Commenting on people's weight is a lazy compliment. People have said I upset her and she feels responsible for my relapse. She isn't, and that I should apologize. So I guess I'm wondering, am I the asshole, and should I apologize?"
What did people say for her to apologize?
So she kind of, she like snapped back at the lady and was like,
But nicely.
yeah.
But what I wonder,
She
like,
said,
what,
one day I had enough, and I said to her, "Can you please stop commenting on my body and weight/appearance? I have an eating disorder, and you are making it worse. commenting on people's weight is a lazy compliment. And anyway, so the other lady felt bad, and she feels that like, oh, maybe I pushed her. She feels guilty of like pushing her into a relapse, which I'm guessing in this case is anorexia or something, because she's losing a lot of weight. So yeah.
So other people are saying that she should apologize.
Yeah. So for example, if I was losing a lot of weight and it was because of my eating disorder, and you know, let's just say.
I think I got it.
Okay.
I think I got it. Let me think. I don't think that that the other, like the new lady, is wrong because she doesn't have full context, but also the way that she snapped, it's also not right. So I think that my comment is quite similar to like the first story that we say. I don't think that the person with the disorder, with this eating disorder is wrong, but the way that she snapped, it just not very nice to say that to a person who doesn't have a context of like what's your like history, you know. So I don't think if she wants to apologize, she will be the big person to do that. She doesn't necessarily have to, but she could just talk to her that, hey, that day it's bothered me, but just want to let you know that I have history of like this. There's no need to be, you don't have to apologize. But I mean, if you want to have if you want to move on and want to, you know, just move on from this part, then just say that.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
from the poster, if I was talking to the poster, I would say, I know that for some people that apologizing can feel, telling someone that you need to apologize, people can get very defensive about that. And feel like, why do I need to apologize? But maybe what I would say to her is that from the other person's perspective, they were trying to compliment you, and let's like, why don't we take a moment to like help educate her, because her intentions weren't bad. I think she just doesn't understand the situation. So I think if she just talked to the lady and was like, hey, you know, I snapped earlier, or or you go to like, hey, I understand that like you weren't trying to be mean, but you know, this is a very sensitive thing for me, and I'm very, you know, I've always struggled with people commenting about my weight, and I myself, you know, because with the anorexia, they have this feeling of like they're gaining weight, or it could also be like a OCD, like they're like a control thing, they don't want to like allow themselves, or they don't deserve to eat. Sometimes they feel even that way. And so if people are saying that like, oh, you're looking so skinny or something like that, it might make them feel like, oh, I need to like, I know most people, I feel like, oh, you're saying they look skinny, they're looking great, then they will themselves feel like, okay, like I look good, I'm fine. But it might push them to like, oh, then what I'm doing is the right thing, you know, like then I shouldn't be gaining weight, I shouldn't be eating, because it's being reinforced, where like she knows deep down that like I shouldn't be this skinny, like I shouldn't be losing this much weight. So I think it was just in general. So my advice is just in people in general, like a lot of times when you have issues with someone, I think it's rarely that the other person is like trying to be an asshole, but I think sometimes the other person doesn't know everything you know or your story. So sometimes we just need to have a little bit of kindness or like a little bit of what do you call, not like a buffer zone, but like, you know, people like, I know some people would, for example, they say like, oh, like are you Chinese? And they'll get offended like, I'm not Chinese, I'm Korean, you know. And it's just kind of like, okay, you know, like not everyone are familiar with like a lot of Chinese or Korean or Southeast Asian people, or you know, and they might just make a mistake and just instead just say like, oh, you know, I'm Korean or whatever, and then
you don't have to get emotional.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be like a a a triggering event, you know.
Yeah, but again, I feel like everyone have different contexts, that like you don't have what happened like the past history or like trauma. So I get where I get where you're coming from, but but sometimes it's also like not nice because I think that I don't know if it's also in Western culture but in many Asian countries, sometimes people when you say hi, like they're like, oh, did you gain weight? It's becoming like hello, or like people are asking like, oh, you look so
It's definitely an
like
Asian culture
yeah,
thing.
you look sad today. Is everything okay? But it's not supposed to be the way. Maybe you should be saying that. How's work? Are you working like a lot these days? Just like lack of sleep or whatever. But it's just very because I was talking to my sister about this before that like some people need to stop like having this as like a hello liner kind of that like
like don't be commenting on my
yeah,
body.
just you don't have to. You can just ask, how's everything? How you doing? You look very lively. How's life? So you can. There's a way to ask, but I mean, it's really not your business to ask. Like if I'm sad, or you can just ask by like, how's your day? How's everything? And if the persons want to tell you, they will be open up and tell you like, yeah, my day is shit, or I'm having a blast. Don't just assume.
Right. So, what I would say is that, I totally get that. That's annoying. And luckily I've, haven't had issues with that. One side note was that when I went to China, visiting family in China one time, they were like just saying, my comment was, you're so tall. And then my sister's comment from them was like, oh, like, did you like gain weight or something like that? And then the way that it was explained to me was that, for a lot of the older generation grandmas in China, like they grew up with some like food insecurity. So their love language is always food. So to be gaining weight is kind of a privilege, and like it's can be seen as a good thing. That's why like our grandparents are usually the love language is always like, let me feed you. Like you're not going to leave my house
makan.
hungry. Yeah. So I think if you want to improve the world, then you need to communicate with people and then just say, like, hey, like, I'm to be honest, I'm a little bit insecure about my body. Like, can we not comment on, and I think it's going to be uncomfortable in the beginning, but how are you going to change that behavior without communicating?
Okay.
And it's difficult. I mean, some people, if they're not major characters in your life and you don't want to put yourself in that uncomfortable position, you can just kind of eat the bullet and just like, okay, like, I'm just going to avoid that person or whatever. Just smile like, haha, but I think if you have to have if you're developing a relationship with this person, not just relationship, but like if you're coworker, for a long time, then you need to communicate because, or just think you can't expect things to change without communication. And then if you do it in a aggressive way, then you're just creating drama, Yeah. Job Okay. Sign off. Okay, you close us out.
We're ready to cook together.
Yeah.
It's dinner time. I'm gonna bake. Not bake. I'm gonna make flat bread today. And I don't know why, but it's keep pushing my.
You can take it off.
Yeah.
I just have the headphones so you can hear like the audio, but if you don't need it, like I'm managing the level, so you can take it off.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay.
Okay, all done.
I love you.
Love you too. Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I don't know what episode this is. I'll check it later. It'll be on the title, but thanks for checking in. Hopefully we'll have more of these. We'd love to have some.
We have. I don't want to say like half, but we should.
We should. Yeah. I mean, I have a couple people that want to come on, so I think it'll be fun.
Who? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Bye to our, single listener. Bye. Is that passive aggressive?
No.
Bye.